Commencing October 1, 2020, the minimum wage will be increased to $11.50 per hour.
I am thinking of the struggling families, and I know that this $1, it means a lot to them, but it's not enough. I think this is a good first step, and that's why I have introduced my bill that will put us on a path to $15 an hour by 2025. We can do that. It's a moral imperative, and we must be courageous and do that.
And I know that the businesses are the bad guys and they should suffer all the ills of society, but the minimum wage is that. It's the minimum, it's the bottom, it's the lowest. When that goes up, every other wage above that goes up as well. It has to go up. We cannot mandate everything and expect it to work out the way we think in utopia. It doesn't. The real world in business is bottom lines. If you can't afford to pay the bills, you shut the doors.
Yeah, Chairwoman Williams, in reference to the region, okay, Massachusetts, Connecticut, where were we at?
You kept doing this kind of stuff. I couldn't hear what you were saying.
I said in reference to the region, Massachusetts and Connecticut, where were we at minimum wage-wise?
Answer Representative McLaughlin's question. Massachusetts minimum wage is $12.75. Connecticut will be $12 in September. So if you're in my district in East Providence and you have a Stop and Shop in East Providence and a Stop and Shop in Seekonk, less than a half a mile from each other, the Stop and Shop in East Providence has trouble getting help.
I usually bring up the fact that I hate when we compare ourselves to our neighboring states, because Massachusetts' economy is a lot different than ours. Connecticut's economy is a lot different than ours. And when, you know, New York is talking about $15 an hour, I mean, and Boston, their economies have not suffered like ours.
So I'm just curious if the tipped minimum is included in this, like if the tipped minimum goes up $1 in addition to the minimum wage, or is it just $1 for minimum wage?
It's just $1 for minimum wage.
That now means that we've raised the minimum wage 4 times since raising the tipped minimum by $1, which effectively negates any raise that we gave those women 5 years ago. 22,000 workers in Rhode Island are tipped workers. 70% of them are women. Every year that we do not give them a crumb off this very generous table, every year that we tell them that them and their families can struggle and suffer and starve is a year that we are saying that 70% of the women who are waiting tables deserve to feed you, but they don't deserve to feed themselves. Thank you.
When we talk about minimum wage, I think we want to be reminded that we are talking about the majority of minimum wage workers in our state and in our country are women, and they are people of color.
This is Black History Month, and we're doing a lot of dancing in here about that, which we should. Black women make 61 cents to every dollar that a white male makes. Let's remember that.
I would like to ask Rep. Marcia Ranglin-Vassell to stay in the bill because we are addressing minimum wage. We don't need to dancing around, Mr. Speaker. It's a long day for many of us, and we asked her also when she mentioned about the Black woman rate is less, the Latinas are less than the Black woman. So I don't want to see a ethnic race fighting here. So, Mr. Speaker, please keep her in the bill. Thank you.
All my neighbors know that I came to the chamber to fight for a $15 living wage, that my fight is not political. My fight is personal.
But the idea of going to $15 an hour, you cannot say to any business owner that your wages will go up 50% in 1 year and give them 8 months' notice.
You are absolutely right, Representative Ranglin-Vassell. It is about poverty, and the minimum wage is one of the most effective weapons to combat it. We've had it in place successfully in the United States on a national scale since the New Deal. The New Deal.
While the minimum wage was never intended to be a living wage, sadly, for some of our brothers and sisters of Rhode Island, it has become a living wage, and we cannot lose sight of that.
Clerk, lock the machine. 61 in favor, 5 opposed. The act prevails.